Today we're catching one of the most iconic trains in the United States, the Empire Builder. We're going from the west to the east, so we're boarding in Seattle and riding it all the way to Chicago. Now unfortunately, King Street Station isn't in the nicest area of town. The security guard confirmed to us later on that they lock all the doors apart from one entrance to keep out vagrants and other undesirables, because this really is a pretty awful area of town. The station itself is beautiful with these inlaid floors and a nice viewing area over the waiting room and really nice ornate ceilings. These ceilings are something else. Look at them. Look at the detail there. I'm not sure what year the station was built, but they really went overboard on some of this detail. There's a good range of facilities here at the King Street Station. There's a full ticket office. You can check your bags for the longer routes, and all the facilities you'd expect, although there isn't a dedicated waiting room for sleeping passengers like a Metropolitan Lounge or anything like that. But the main waiting room is pretty nice, and so yeah, you can hang out here for a little while instead of outside, which is, as I said, a really awful neighbourhood. So almost time for boarding. One thing to note is the red cap service is pretty limited. There is a red cap, but I think from what I saw, only one. So just bear that in mind.
Yeah, you get in line.
Do we scan?
Once again, ladies and gentlemen, if you're in train 8, the Empire Builder, in a roomette or bedroom, please form a line here. If you're in a coaches, you can form one single line.
If I could have everyone's attention, please. Now, boarding for sleeping car passengers for train number 8. Please have your tickets out. Ready?
8:30.
8:30, right there.
Okay. Good evening. How are you?
What room are you in?
D. 8:30 D.
Okay, come on.
So the usual frantic activity on boarding. A couple of cases. You see there's plenty of storage room here. We didn't check any bags. We could have, but we brought along, I think it was 3 bags. So really ample luggage space here. These stairs are a little tight. We'll take a closer look at them later. But all aboard. I don't think the station master's checking his watch because we're 5 or 6 minutes delayed. They're meant to leave at 4:55. It doesn't really matter on a journey that's 2 days long, of course. So we're in a bedroom for the journey, so 2 days in this bedroom. So let's have a little look around. It's in day mode right now. And we have some controls here for the lights, the heating control, which didn't work, by the way. But everything's very comfortable. We actually had to move cabin later on because of the heating. It was just pumping out hot air. It was very comfortable. This is one of the newer carriages. I'm not sure anyone in the history of Amtrak has ever played chess there. We constantly hit the call attendant button instead of the light, so that was a bit bad of us. These are the in-room facilities. There's a shower and a toilet in the room itself, and there are other showers and toilets you can use elsewhere in the car. I didn't use this one. It's a little tight, but as I said, there's plenty of others. After dinner, the car attendant sets the bed up in night mode, and this is what it looks like with the bunk down and the larger lower bunk. Very comfortable. Just checking on our baggage, which is on the lower level in the sleeper car, and this stairway, which is okay when you don't have bags, but it's a little tight. This is the view in the sleeper car, looking back towards the dining car. The dining car is situated between first class and coach. This is roomettes on both the left and the right. Okay, let's go for dinner. I don't think this menu changes at all during the trip. So there's dinner on one side and breakfast and lunch on the other side. So it's a pretty extensive menu, and we'll show a lot of the dishes here. Now, a quick shout out to our newest subscriber, Cameron. Really nice to meet you, Cameron. So here's a couple of the dishes: coconut shrimp and the caprese skewers. A couple of appetizers. And then for the main course, we have the legendary flat iron steak with all the trimmings, and there's also a chicken dish as well. Everything was very nice and delicious. Apologies for zooming in and out. It was a little rough at this point in the journey. Dessert, the blueberry cheesecake was pretty good. So after dinner, we retired to the observation car, which is very nice at night. And it's next morning, and for breakfast, a 3-egg omelette with a side of pork links and French toast, the legendary Amtrak French toast, and a cup of coffee to wrap it up. So our first stop this morning is Whitefish, Montana, and it's snowing buckets, and it's absolutely beautiful.
Montana, it's already snowing.
After Whitefish, we head into the Glacier National Park, which is more wonderful scenery, especially with it snowing down like this. The observation car is not too crowded on the west to east trip. I've heard it can get pretty crowded the other way, but absolutely splendid scenery. Essex, Montana is really in the heart of the Glacier National Park and very popular for skiing. I think this is the guy we almost left behind in Whitefish. So we're still in Glacier National Park, tracking along towards the East Glacier Park station, and travelling along beside the river here, more spectacular scenery. I feel like I'm saying spectacular all the time, but it's just awesome here with the snow coming down and everything covered in a fresh cover of snow. So this place is really cold. Shelby, Montana. But let's get out and have a look at the engines. It's a pretty lonely saloon, the City Saloon of Shelby, Montana. If you've been there, let us know about it in the comments. After Shelby, we head across the high plains, and they basically go on the whole day. It doesn't look spectacular, but travelling across an Amtrak here, it does feel really special. Probably the crossing the Nullarbor in Australia might feel the same. I haven't done that yet, but hope to do it soon. Overnight, we cross from Montana into North Dakota. This is Williston, North Dakota. The next day we're into Minnesota. As the attendant made pains to point out, there's only the one stop here in St. Paul, Minneapolis, and it's a pretty modern station, but not much around. After all those hours on the high plains, this seems incredibly crowded and modern. But we run along the river here for quite a long way, and it's still very scenic as well. I couldn't believe the number of eagles I saw flying around here. I have to come out with my long lens sometime and try and shoot some of them. Pretty cold and barren though otherwise. But these are the upper reaches of the Mississippi River, and yeah, it's still pretty impressive even this far from its estuary. I'm intrigued how the rail lines run through the suburbs here. It seems like the streets were laid out first, and then the rail tracks were laid down, and some of the streets were just blocked off. So we get sort of busy with day trippers here. People where this is the main mode of transport. Amtrak serves a really necessary function up here.
This is not the final spot. We are pulling forward.
So after Winona, we actually cross the mighty Mississippi. As I said earlier, even at this distance from the estuary, it's still a mighty river.
Wisconsin is next. If La Crosse is your station stop, please gather your belongings, make your way middle of the car announcers to the train. La Crosse, Wisconsin, coming up shortly. Thank you.
We crossed the Mississippi at a town called La Crosse, and then down to Milwaukee. One of the things that's really surprised me on this trip is the number of French names. In addition to La Crosse, there was Havre, there was all sorts of names that from French. So not really surprising, I guess, considering the French fur trappers opened up a lot of this area. And this is another interesting thing. The train platform is actually in the middle of the street, and the traffic has to stop until we've completed the stop. Milwaukee is a town that's never done anything for me. It's very industrial. Apologies if you're from Milwaukee, but it's pretty awful.
Stop. Now's a good time to gather your belongings. Make your way to the center of your car to the lower level to exit. Arriving downtown Milwaukee.
That's the Amtrak Hiawatha service there, which runs between Chicago and Milwaukee. A great little day trip if you're up for it. On a previous visit, I went from Chicago up to Milwaukee, visited the Harley-Davidson Museum, and back down again in a single day. After Milwaukee, it's a straight run into Chicago. I think there's one or two small stops. Before you know it, we're getting close to Union Station, Chicago. This place feels incredibly busy after the North Plains. We used a red cap to take us from the station up to the street level, and Brandy was absolutely excellent. It's early January, but the Christmas tree is still up at Union Station. Look at the size of that Christmas tree. Absolutely splendid.
For 20 years I've done this trip to work.
So that's it, guys, for our Empire Builder Eastbound. Please hit like if you appreciate my content, and subscribe to be notified of future content. Thank you very much.